Hi, I'm Tony Buffin with Human Cloud, live at SIA's CollaborationX conference here in Dallas, Texas. And I'm with Brian Wallins of SIA. Brian, it's so great to have you on this podcast.
I'm thrilled to be here. This is great.
Tell me a little bit about your role at SIA and what you've been involved in today with the conference.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been with SIA for over 8 years now, which is hard to believe. And I'm a research director covering talent acquisition technology. And that includes all various kinds of segments. Big focus on talent platforms, which you're very familiar with.
Yeah.
As well as interviewing platforms, workforce analytics, online job advertising. I'm also covering the staffing platform space, which has been really interesting, and I'm sure we'll touch upon at some point as well.
But I mean, all of that has exploded, right? And just looking back maybe 8 years, 3 years ago, probably a lot of these organizations, even like Ropes, who we just saw before this, didn't exist.
So true. Absolutely. No, as a matter of fact, it reminds me of a recent report I did earlier this year on voice AI and talent acquisition. In there, we identified 36 voice AI vendors in the entire talent acquisition ecosystem at the time. More than half of those companies didn't even exist 2 years before that report.
Yeah.
So it's a wild time. And now we're up to 63 on that vendor. So it just shows you how fast things are moving.
And that's how great the research is, because that statistic has come up in these conversations like 3 times. People are like,
funny.
oh, it's moving so fast. Brian shared this.
Yeah.
So definitely that resonated with a lot of the folks that are here.
Yeah.
And all the folks that aren't here, that's a great stat that we could share that they missed.
Yeah.
What an incredible space. How do you get your arms around this fast, rapidly moving space and all these new technologies to just keep track and know how to follow them?
It's a great question, and it's one of the reasons for this entire reimagined conference of CollaborationX. You know, it's kind of like the next evolution of our previous conference, which was collaboration in the gig economy.
Yeah.
But where AI and automation has really become just top of mind for all companies in the entire ecosystem. That's how this all came together, and so it's really interesting too. Just not just the content has changed and the companies participating, but what people are looking to get out of the conference.
Yeah.
I think there's been some evolution there in terms of, you consider the economic climate we're all in right now. The staffing industry has been down the last couple of years. It's been tough times, and, maybe flattish growth right now. And so I think a lot of companies around the ecosystem, not just in staffing, are looking for answers.
Yeah.
What's happening here? Is this kind of a cyclical thing that we're going through right now? Or is this something more structural going on because of AI or something like that? And then, yes, we have this deluge of new technology coming to market. And the biggest struggle that we see is, how do I sift through all of this?
Yeah.
Which tools are right for my organization? How I go about evaluating that? So that's what this is all about.
Yeah, it's a big space. One of the things we talked about, I don't remember who it was that said it. They're like, hey, it's really interesting because we leave these rooms and then we compete violently. But while we're here, we share, we're experiencing a lot of the same challenges, and we share and we learn from each other. And it's such a great opportunity to kind of grow and learn and evolve. Tell me some of the trends that you're seeing that people are talking about, in terms of the challenges that they're sharing and what they're learning.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, what that point is so true.
Yeah.
And it's one of the first things that struck me when I started researching talent platforms is, yes, it's a hyper-competitive space, but everyone's learning from each other because everything is so new, right?
Yeah.
And the competition of your peers is really not the competition you're facing in the market, right? It's the opportunity. It's a massive opportunity, and that we see growing. In terms of your question of, I'm sorry, I lost the focus.
Yeah, but we'll come back to that because actually you said something I think is really cool.
Okay.
I feel like the real competition is status quo. We're trying to get people to change the way they're doing. We're trying to get them to use new technology or think differently about where they go to get talent and how they work with that talent, whether it's not just traditional work anymore. It could be, a contingent work. It could be freelancers, independent workers. They could be all over the globe, which brings new challenges in terms of compliance and et cetera. That's the real challenge. How do organizations get through that change, that resistance to doing something new and embracing all that's available with these providers?
Yeah, I think that's probably the number one struggle enterprise workforce management teams are facing right now. I think they're becoming increasingly convinced that that kind of strategy is increasingly important.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an inevitability in moving into being open to more types of working models. And, it's not just them that are working through these challenges, it's the suppliers too.
Yeah.
They're adapting to this new environment. And I think like a recent example from Upwork and what they're doing with Lifted.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of becoming more of like an end-to-end workforce suite, offering all these different types of things.
Yeah, I talked about kind of a similar topic with Brian Hoffmeyer at Beeline,
Yes.
is acquiring MBO. Like
Exactly.
when you're at a certain size, you make it easier by pulling more underneath your umbrella so that your clients can tap into different types of talent without having to bolt on more and more vendors themselves. And it keeps it in one system. I fully expect that to continue. I wonder your opinion, but I expect that we'd see continued consolidation in this space so that more single providers can offer more options.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
I know, in Human Cloud's recent landscape, you have
market
like about
map.
800, a market map of over 800 platforms, which is incredibly impressive to track down all those platforms. But I think, yes, we're certainly heading towards consolidation. We see it in our research. Each year, actually, we've seen the trend. You look at the top 20 vendor market shares over time, and that number just keeps on going up each year.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to continue to see more of that. And 800 is a huge number, and you can't expect enterprises to keep track of who's on where and across 800 systems. So I think we're going to see it continue to consolidate. We'll have I don't know how many, but a smaller number of horizontal marketplaces like that.
Yeah.
There will be room for certainly niche players to carve out, and become experts in certain verticals. And I think that will continue to happen as well. But I expect consolidation to continue.
Yeah, I think back in 2017, I was at Stanley Black & Decker in HR.
Yeah.
And I kind of, got introduced to Upwork and championed bringing it into the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we go through an RFP process.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't too many other businesses we could think of that we had to compare them to. And we jumped in.
Yeah.
Then I fast forward now, if I were in the same spot,
Yeah.
it would be so incredibly overwhelming to try to figure out, all right, well, yeah, there's an Upwork, but there's 850 others. How do I know which one or ones are right for me? And
That's right.
That's frankly part of why I joined Human Cloud.
Yeah,
because I want to help organizations figure that out.
Right.
There's a lot that are a good fit for organizations, but it's not just the marketplace. They might need an EOR. They might need help with fractional business insurance, whatever it might be. There's a lot of pieces that can come together to make a really successful talent access program.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, you think of part of that adjustment from the supplier side of things.
Yeah.
Is historically enterprises, they're like, I need my platform to work through MSPs and VMS, and there are concerns on compliance. And those are I think there were really two big inhibitors in seeing enterprise adoption of talent platforms.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing those walls crumble right now.
Yeah.
And really the platforms are meeting the enterprises where they need to be.
Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about the growth of this marketplace space, staffing agencies, and the technology there. What about where do you see it going? Like when you look out on the horizon, what do you feel like is coming next? What are you excited about in that space?
Well, down the road, I do expect, we've seen this theme of convergence from the staffing industry and platform models coming together. And it's really just accelerating that pace of convergence.
Yeah.
And so I think what we're going to see longer term is really just a kind of a hybrid kind of model winning out. Of course, you'll have pure play platforms and you'll have pure play staffing firms having their own roles. But the amount of share that goes into these kind of companies that can handle kind of both and meet the client how they want to engage is where we're headed.
Yeah.
Now, of course, automation is going to play a huge role here. More and more of the processes are going to get automated. Everything is going to get sped up. And that's going to also meet the needs of clients because their strategies within are evolving in shorter and shorter cycles.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be making decisions around talent much faster than they have in the past as well.
Absolutely. Well, to aid with that, what kind of research should we look forward to? What's coming out that people should, jump onto and take advantage of from you guys?
As we talk about platforms, we do annual reports for staffing platforms.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about that kind of conversions there. We also do an annual global talent platform survey. I think we'd spend maybe 5 or 6 years now. And so it's really nice. We're at a point now where we can kind of track the trends over time to see what's really happening. And then we do an annual talent platform report. And that really just covers the entire landscape on a global basis, showing where the market growth is and our forecast for it.
When did they come out?
We actually just published the most recent one I spoke about, the Talent Platform Update. That was just ahead of the conference, about 2 weeks before the conference.
Oh, that's right. Okay, great.
So, that just came out. And about a month before that was the Talent Platform Survey results.
Yeah, man, which people should definitely go check out if they have any interest in what's happening in this space.
Yeah.
Because what a great benchmark and a foundational understanding of where it's at.
Yeah. Well, and another thing, if you're just looking for what's coming in the future, is my next report I'm going to be working on is venture capital in the workforce solutions ecosystem. And this will be my 3rd time doing this report on an annual basis, which is a lot of fun. We break out all the various segments of the ecosystem and where they're seeing activity, who the investors are, but more interestingly, who the new startups are, where, which areas are drawing the most attention and seeing the most investment.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's great that's super interesting, especially for all these marketplaces.
That's right.
Thinking about their future and trying to plan for that.
Yeah.
When does that come out?
That will be probably around November timeframe.
Okay, cool. We'll have to definitely check that out.
Yes.
And I told you I was going to ask you what are you excited about? That has to be something you're super excited about.
It's a lot of fun.
Horizon. What else? Is there anything else that you're looking forward to, especially as we get into next year? We've had some great conversations around. When I talked to John yesterday, he talked about, hey, we're seeing a little slight uptick in growth for this space, which is great news for everybody here because, like you mentioned, it's been a tough couple of years.
Yes.
When you look to 2026, what do you think is going to be exciting?
I wish I could say exciting for 2026 in terms of growth, but I think it's going to be kind of incremental personally.
Yeah.
I think we're probably looking at low single-digit kind of growth.
Sure.
But that's better than negative growth.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think things will trend, positively from there.
Okay.
There's a couple things at play here, and there's a lot of uncertainty, and that's actually part of the issue is the uncertainty.
Yeah.
And we're going to have more answers as time passes, particularly around AI and its impact on the workforce and how that's going to change demand for human workers. So that's something exciting to track to see, because that's really going to really structurally change the entire industry for years to come.
Yeah. I think the market dynamics that we've seen over the last couple of years where things feel so unpredictable, I don't think that's going away. It's going to continue to be really unpredictable. So organizations have to build in flexibility so they can react quickly with speed, anticipate the best they can, but new technology or changes in policies or whatever are going to force them to have to react and adjust on the fly. And understanding what marketplaces and talent access tools are available is what's going to help them be successful.
Completely agree. No, and
this is all just validation for me. I feel so good.
We're very much aligned.
I appreciate that.
I think what we're seeing is the flexible workforce models moving from just kind of a plug for where they were in the past to becoming more strategic, and also de-risking for the enterprise. So if you think about it, you just made that point there, but also just in terms of the enterprise needs for talent is changing so much faster, right? The skills that they are looking for is constantly changing, and it's only going to speed up. So in order to have access to the skills they need for today, that means you need to tap into a flexible workforce.
Yeah. So. I've been coming to this conference for 4 years now. And I'm always disappointed there aren't more HR folks. Of course, I'm biased because I'm an HR person. I see a lot of procurement folks. Sure. I interviewed an HR person earlier, but I feel like I always want to grab the HR community and shake them and be like, show up to this. Get out here because you should be driving and championing this within the organizations, because your role is helping the organization access the talent that they need now and anticipate that. And here are all the people that can help you do it. So
That's exactly right.
This is my plug to HR. Get out to this conference. Show up.
Come.
There's so much to learn, and you have so many questions, and everybody has lots of questions. But what a great place to come and talk about it and learn and figure out who can help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
I wish I could disagree with you a little bit more, but
no, of course. Listen, someone else said it. We're on the same team, though,
we are.
And so I'm really glad that this is growing, because this conference has grown quite a bit.
Yes.
I like the change around CollaborationX. Especially incorporating AI, which has been big. I know you know Margaret Lalani. She was in here.
Yes.
She said, "Hey, I was excited about how much this was going to be about AI."
Yeah.
But what I learned over the course of the day yesterday is it's really about change management, and because AI is so much about change management. This conference is about change management. And I was like, "Wow, that's a really interesting point."
Absolutely. Even you go to the various panel discussions here in Q&A, the questions from the audience are all about change management.
Yeah.
That's what they want to hear. They want to learn about.
This isn't easy.
That's right.
It's exciting, but making it happen is where the real rubber meets the road, and that people just want to know, how do we do it? How has someone else done it, and how can I do it?
Right. Yeah. The evolution has been fascinating. So a couple of years ago, the questions were about AI. Is this real? Is this not real? And then last year is kind of like, all right, I think this is happening, and now it's like, all right, we know this is happening. We need to act fast. We need to catch up to our competitors, and that involves a lot of change management.
And to get there, it involves a lot of collaboration, which is why I love that it's in the name of the conference. Yeah. Brian, it's so great to talk to you. Thank you so much. How do people learn more? They want to follow reports. They want to follow you. Where do they go? Yeah,
well, feel free to reach out to me at bwallins@staffingindustry.com, and then of course you can find me on LinkedIn.
Of course, yeah. And just go to staffingindustry.com.
Of course.
They can find the reports there?
The reports are right there. It's
Look out for
that
VC report in November. That's going to be pretty cool.
That's going to be fun.
Hey, thanks again for joining me.
Great to see you, Tony.